He's like the Hulk of
And as
panels.
soon as, yeah, exactly.
So we need to give that six.
I'm always angry. It's different.
Totally. So next year,
It's out there now.
What's that?
next year. I'm already thinking next year.
Always already thinking next year? Yeah, we're always. God, what year are we on now?
You gonna frame those prints?
They just revealed.
Yeah. They look good.
2021 is Doctor Strange, Thor, Shang-Chi year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I'm starting to think
How was
about
that panel? Because I know you were
Oh, that's freaking awesome. I don't like going to panels because it's like I like to see so much stuff. I don't like sitting in line. So to have to lose in like that type of a panel, you give up a day or more to wait for it. And I'm like, people spend a lot of money for these things. I don't spend a lot of money. I get sent to these shows. But if I had to put my own money in, I would lose my flippin' mind waiting, for 6 hours to see an hour panel, or sometimes days. And I'm like, so I really don't go to this type of thing. I'm like, I'd rather let the people who care about it take my seat and go enjoy it. I'll find out from our partners after.
These were available.
But this year they're like, we want. This year I really wanted to go see and the clue what the next 2 years were going to be.
Prepared man.
A lot of rumors and we had a lot of hints from our partners. We didn't know for certain what it was. So I'm like, I want to be sitting there because I want to hear
Again, this is
what Kevin's plan is. I don't know.
Marvel Hasbro
We were pretty darn close. I mean, we were probably
Fan Expo Canada.
maybe from that wall, maybe another 10 feet back on that wall to the stage. Ryan and I had really awesome seats for Hall H. We were pretty darn close.
We were in front of Tom.
Yeah, we were in front of the Russo brothers. They were behind us. So we had better seats than them. So,
Well then.
Right. Exactly.
No, I'm glad we got this spot. Hey, mini truck.
Thank you.
I don't recommend it. No? Oh. Get a gorilla. Is it strong? It is gorilla. Oh, that's Jovi. Yeah. I would bring that next time.
So anyone else with you guys?
Just missing the Daredevil. Yeah, and the cloak. Sorry. I don't want to buy the cloak. Oh, he will.
So yeah,
Good afternoon. Who's ready for the Hasbro Marvel? Awesome. Great enthusiasm. This is my third one today, so we're going to try to keep this lively and entertaining, and my friends from the South are certainly going to help with that, I'm sure. Let's jump right into it. My name is Greg Ferguson. I'm the head of marketing for Hasbro Canada, and I want to introduce all the way from the beautiful land of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Dwight Stahl.
See you guys.
Anyone has a Canada hat that wants to swap out a USA hat?
4 stars, baby. We got 4.
And Ryan Ting, senior manager on our whole.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out again. Dwight and I are so happy to be back here. It's probably one of our favorite trips of the entire year.
I didn't think I'd be invited back, so this is great.
They let us back in. Alright, so we're just going to jump right into Marvel. It's been a huge year for Marvel, as we know. What was your favorite movie this year, Dwayne?
Endgame.
Endgame?
Endgame, right?
Hard to top
Yeah.
that. Captain Marvel, everything came to a head with Endgame, and then Spider-Man Far From Home as well. That's a pretty big anniversary this year for Marvel. Since 1939, 80 years.
Almost to this day.
Yeah,
The
almost.
end of August is their celebration of their official 80th birthday.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, we just wanted to say we love you 3001. This is a shot from this room probably last year. Is Mega Man Zero here again? I love that guy. Okay. Well, hopefully, we can see you again next year. So, I wanted to talk about, some of the great things our fans are doing. If any of you are toy photographers, we love to plug this hashtag Hasbro Toy Pick on Instagram. So these are some of my favorite recent shots that I just pulled with some of our recent products. So keep using that hashtag. We see them, we follow it, and we appreciate all the hard work.
Oh yeah, you guys are amazingly talented, and it's just so cool to see these figures personified in their ultimate form. It's like it's not just about that plastic piece; it's about what that story it's telling. And when you guys bring those things to life like that, it's absolutely amazing.
So at the show, we have 2 convention exclusives. I think the availability will depend on which day. But the first one is the Collector and Grandmaster Pack. And this one's pretty special because of the Collector.
Yeah, this is our only collector. We worked with Benicio's team to let us make this figure because he wasn't one of the figures that typically fell under the contracts that Marvel had already figured out for their characters. So it was a very special figure for us to get a chance to tackle, and we're really pleased with the way he turned out. I think the likeness is pretty darn spot on, and we're very pleased with both of these figures.
Got 2 profiles for the Collector.
Yep.
And then this is actually not just a 2-pack. Some might say it's a 3-pack. Our friend here, who unfortunately, got melted away, which segues us to our first trivia question for the afternoon, where we're giving away some fantastic prizes. So, Greg, why don't you help us see if anyone... Raise your hand if you think you know. Who was the name of the guy who got melted?
Right here.
Carl?
That's right. Carlo, the cousin of the Grand Master. So you, sir, you win a autographed vintage Hulk.
Wow, thank you.
And there's something special inside, which we'll talk about in a second.
Oh my God.
All right. The second
Looking for that one.
we now know is the Hulk.
Yeah.
But just a quick
Give me that when you buy in the store.
insight into this, why we did this. We had 2 waves of the Toy Biz retro-inspired figures. The whole team is big fans of this nostalgia play here. So instead of the standard 6-inch scale, we went big for the second item. This Hulk is 8.5 inches tall, I think. Awesome.
Yeah, this is our first all-new Hulk since 2010. I think the last time we did a new Hulk was the Ed McGuinness style Hulk. I can't remember where what wave it belonged to, but it's been 9 years now, so it's been way past due to hit a classic Hulk. We've been hitting a lot of classic stuff this year, which I think you guys are pretty pleased with, but this was a real treat to tackle. Try to come up with some new ways of doing some fun new articulation that gives you some really awesome posing without hurting the aesthetic of the character, and we're super pleased with it. We hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do.
And Tony, our master model artist on Legends, and I insisted on putting in the most requested accessory of all time. We hear it all the time, the crushed pipe. So now you get it. All right, and that takes us to our next trivia question. But before we lead into that, some insights into how we come up with Comic-Con items. This is the core Legends team here, as well as some other folks not pictured, but me, Dwight, and Tony there. And Tony actually came to us in a meeting, and we all just sit around and we pitch ideas. We sit in this small, windowless room in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We talk about what cool things can we do for Comic-Con.
Saddest conference room in the history of conference rooms.
We're working on it. But yeah, so Tony came here and he had this image. He was just like, guys, we're doing the vintage series. Wouldn't it be cool if we did an oversized Hulk? And it was kind of a...
I don't think I'm selling how bad this conference room is. We literally had to have the carpet replaced because the restroom's on the other side of the wall. So,
TMI.
I'm sorry. Am I losing focus?
That's all right.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, and so Tony pitched this, and it made sense, and it fit perfectly into our 80th anniversary for the year, and it's been a popular item.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been selling out really well at Comic-Con as well as here.
And then if our friend opened his pack, but what we have for the giveaways is Tony and Dwight signed each of them. So it's extra special. You'll see.
Because we defaced it.
You just increase that retail
We
value.
increased the retail value of it.
Big time. Which takes us to our next trivia question. So we'll do a show of hands and Greg can pick out the person who raised their hand first. So here we go. Besides Hulk, Captain America, and Spider-Man, name one other character that was in the first wave of Marvel superheroes in 1990. What do you got? So we're talking Marvel superheroes, this lineup, not Marvel Legends. We're talking 1990. All right. Also incorrect. Oh, this is good. They're not too easy. All right.
Over this side.
Spider-Man?
Besides Captain America, Spider-Man, and Hulk, because those are easy. I want to
Blew your
make it
chance.
a little more
God
challenging.
damn.
Punisher?
Punisher, we have a winner. Nice job. So the correct answers were Daredevil, Silver Surfer, Punisher, Doctor Doom, and Doc Ock.
I was gonna say Doc. Thank you so much. Oh, real collectors in this line?
All right, great. We have one more trivia question. Sticking to this, it's harder. But sticking with this toy line, there were 4 or 5 waves depending on how you count them. But which figure had a completely different costume than depicted on the blister cards? Not Wolverine. Nope. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Daredevil.
Who said Daredevil? My man right there. Armored Daredevil. They did a really good redeco. I believe the comic came out in 1994, so the Toy Biz team turned that around.
I gotta say, Ryan's side of the room is whooping my side of the room. Thanks, buddy.
So we're going to go on to some of our premium roleplay items. We had 2 this year, as you know. Hopefully these are already in your display cases. We have the Ant-Man helmet with 2 LED modes, red for shrinking and blue for growing, giant. And then we have, of course, the Power Gauntlet. This is available for sale downstairs in the booth, I believe. But what's better than 1 gauntlet? You would say 2. You were right. Now I have 2 gauntlets for your right hand and your left hand. You can be cool like this guy. Just walk around your house.
And you'll be just as handsome as him as well. The power of
And tall. He was very tall.
Yes.
We've got the Punisher helmet based on Future Fight. This is probably one of Dwight's favorite items.
I mean, you throw a skull on anything and it's a win, right? You put it on an Iron Man helmet, that's a double win. So we're getting a chance to do this type of an item. This was our first non-theatrical item, which was really cool. So so far we got a lot of good reviews and people seem excited about it. So hopefully that'll open the door for us to have an opportunity to stretch further past the MCU proper and do some other fun things for you.
This is available for pre-order now, I believe, online. We also have a Captain America shield. Now this one, it's a little hard to tell from the picture on the right there, but this one is a classic-inspired shield.
Yeah, I had a great speech when I was in San Diego, but I'm in Canada now, so I don't think it's as good of a message. So I'm just going to say it's really cool in red, white, and blue.
So here's another.
Those are great colors that represent good colors. So go
Yeah, 2 out of
Canada.
3. 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
So this is an image from a video we shot. You can see the white is kind of much brighter and cleaner and classic than the cinematic silver. So I threw that in for you. Moving on to our 6-inch wave. It was a big year for Avengers. Endgame. We've had 2 waves out right now. We've got 2 movie builder figures here.
And my favorite one is coming.
Your favorite one. Favorite one for Wave 3. This will be later this year, of course it is.
When the concept art came through on this one, I lost my mind. I was like, we have to do this action figure. And everybody's like, no, man, no one's going to want that. I'm like, you don't get it, man. This is amazing. We have to do this figure. And after, we did the ones you got to have first, the Thanoses and things of that nature, we're like, yeah, when we had the opportunity for a 3rd wave, we're like, this is too amazing. It's an action figure. It's a hero that I can aspire to be. And I'm all about that.
Who would have thought sweatpants, be that popular? We also, people were wondering, right, where the Mark 85 was all along, and so he's finally in Wave 3 here. All new sculpt there with the fun little accessory.
Fun little accessory that, just happens to work with your Build-A-Figure from Wave 2. We got a lot of questions, where's the gauntlet for Iron Man? We didn't know about that till we saw the movie. Marvel's an amazing partner, and they tell us an awful lot, but even there are some secrets that they are not willing to share with us. So we didn't know about that until we actually sat in the theater and saw it, and we're like, oh, that's awesome. So, you know, that's what that goes into the stay tuned category. You know, at some point in the futures, we'll get around to doing those types of variants or other exclusives.
Yeah, we all watched it together. We the day it came out as a team, and we were really surprised when we saw Tony.
Yeah, I used some really creative words to describe my feelings for that.
We have a Avengers 1 inspired Captain America, so you can have your dual, Captain America battle there. We have a also patriotic Iron Man Patriot there, who is significantly different actually.
Yeah, this one has a lot of new parts to it, and plus we wanted to really do like the maxed out version with everything popped open. So he's got new legs, new forearms, a whole weapons gantry, new torso, and an amazing, really shiny red, white, and silver deco pattern. So he's really fun.
Next up we have Valkyrie, which is a costume that we haven't put out for her yet.
Right. Her hero white outfit, we saw that at the end of Ragnarok, and then she brought it back at the end of Endgame. So I thought it was really cool, and she's a great character, and can't wait to see what her role is going to be in the upcoming Love and Thunder.
Yeah, they announced since Comic-Con. Yeah, they announced the next Thor movie. Looks great. Another Thor-related character, first time in the line.
Heimdall. Yep. So with the cloak, he's a Ragnarok figure. Without the cloak, he's a dead man from Infinity War. So take your pick.
And then last is our phasing Vision from Civil War, and I pulled this clip to remind people from his battle with Hawkeye. He kind of phases right through here. So it's a special kind of plastic trickery.
Yeah, plastic trickery. I like that.
And then, sticking with Civil War, this is a separate item. We'll wait until Hawkeye gets in the headline here. Okay, sleeper hold. Sleeper hold for him. Alright, so then the next item is we're reissuing our Civil War Giant Man Build-A-Figure with some updates.
Yeah, he's literally busting out of the package. He's too big to be contained. And we were able to, one of the nice things about these anniversary programs and getting to revisit characters is we get a second opportunity to give you hopefully a better, more improved, more movie accurate version. The concept art for Giant Man looked a lot muddier and darker, which is what we did for the silvers in the film, and then we saw it and they had decided at some point in development that they wanted it to be shiny and new. So we were able to update that here. He's got a much more vivid color scheme, especially discussing his armor. And he had these little boot flaps, which we thought was weird, but it was in the reference. So the original Giant Man, if you have it, has these like shoe tongues that are like hanging out of his shoe, because I thought that's what it was going to be. What it comes to find out was it was the stunt person, whoever was wearing the costume, didn't have it fully assembled for the photo shoots. So what we thought was accurate wasn't really accurate. So we went back and tweaked the tooling to get rid of those flaps. So it's a small little detail, but whenever we have the opportunity, we like to try to fix something or improve it if we can.
So more movie goodness here with the Marvel Studios line. We have these 5 movie 2-packs hitting about now. Some of them are available for sale downstairs. You've got 2 from Thor Ragnarok. What's your favorite one of these 3?
I don't know. Korg's amazing, but I really love Scourge. Getting the chance to do Carl Urban as an awesome Marvel character was a real treat. So, and I think the likenesses, the new photo real process we're using on all the theatrical faces, takes these figures, light years from where they were just a couple of years ago. And we're still in the infancy of developing this process, so I can't imagine how crazy, amazing, and creepily realistic these things could look in just another couple, years down the line. So it's a new process, but we're excited about it. I hope you guys are. I think that it's definitely upped the game and given us much more accurate. You can see the person it's intended to be now, which 5-6 years ago was like kind of there.
And what's great about programs like this is we can do all new characters like Scourge and Korg and Ghost, but we can also do some meaningful updates to make them the most accurate version. So I really like in the Hela and Scourge pack how we packed in all these new bits for Hela. She has the Mjolnir crushing hand and some new heads there, as well as updates like the Infinity War or Iron Man and Iron Spider there.
Yeah,
you know, taken once again, we get the initial packages of assets to develop these figures, and it's usually pretty based out. It's front views, maybe back views, not always do we have that, and we usually don't have all of the extra bits and pieces, like all of the transformative elements of his armor. It's not that we don't want to give you guys that stuff the first time, it's just usually the studio timelines for developing their films versus our product development lines don't quite align. So they give us the best that they have, and they always update us throughout the course of the year. But once we've actually locked in what we're doing and we go to cut steel, we don't have the opportunity to go back. So then when more information comes out from the studio, or when we see the film, it gives us a chance to go back, fix the sins of of prior years and do all these amazing new bits and pieces. And we didn't have scan data for Kate, or on the last one for the Hella the first time around. So that one was good, but we think these are even better. And same thing with characters like Peggy and some ones that have just been missing for a long, long time. So
go out and complete your MCU collection with those figures.
Definitely.
We're gonna switch to Marvel 80th year, 80 years now as we talk. So I have another trivia question. So this one is kind of challenging too, but here we go. Get ready. Can you name 2 out of the 4 characters featured on the cover of Marvel Comics #1?
Back in the red.
That is correct. He picked the 2 that I would have picked, but we also had the Angel and Master Raider. So good job in the back.
looks like a clean sweep for Ryan's side of the room.
Good side, strong side. Okay, so we have more Hasbro toy pick goodness here. We had a campaign for our comic-inspired 80th items. So you might have seen these on the Hasbro Pulse Instagram. Got some great iconic Avengers. Got to redo the big 3 here. Iron Man, Thor, Cap. As well as some really big, extra big 2-packs. So Wolverine and Hulk. First appearance of Wolverine.
First appearance, yeah, Kitten Mittens Wolverine. My favorite Hulk of the versions we've done so far. And I really like getting a chance to revisit Juggernaut. I wasn't pleased with our Build-A-Figure from 2 or 3 years ago. The helmet didn't quite turn out the way I envisioned it to. It wasn't what I wanted. So getting a chance to revisit and try to do a more comic accurate to the era I was trying to depict, I was really happy to get a second shot of that. And I love this new version of Juggernaut. For me, it by far, trumps the original one. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too.
And the fist and open hands for both Colossus and Juggernaut make it really fun for posing out at things.
Definitely.
We unveiled this at San Diego. We have a really fun, kind of wacky Deadpool 2-pack coming. We call this the Suits 2-pack.
Yeah, it's got anytime you have some fun with Wade is great, and you can throw Hitmonkey in there again. We always like to see what characters have high value on the secondary market, and if we have an opportunity to bring you guys those in a new way, so that if you did buy the first one, it still retains that value to you and to your collection. But there's a lot of people that miss these things, and there's a lot of new people getting into the collecting field every year. So you get a chance to revisit some of those great characters from the past, bring them back out for a new audience. You may have had the first one, you may have missed it. Now you get a chance to get a second bite at it. And the packaging is really fun too. It's a lot of neons. It's kind of inspired by a television series, Miami Vice in the 80s, and it's got that kind of a vibe to it, which is really cool.
I don't even have that Hitmonkey Build-A-Figure. That's the whole one. Yeah. So.
You just call me old.
No, of course not. Young at heart, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
We've got some variants coming. These have all been revealed. We've got some great big heavy hitters. Big Time Spider-Man was a popular reveal. As well as that Punisher. I think that's Tony's favorite back home. And then breaking news, you might have seen earlier today. Was that a good Google image poll? So we have a Stealth Iron Man. And this one's a really cool design. The team still reads all the comic books, and when they see something cool, and they kind of file that away. And then when we have a chance to put it out, we do.
Exactly.
So that's some comic panels I found from Battle of those Tech Ninjas. Yeah, that's what we were calling them. Alright, so X-Men #1, you guys all have this, probably know about this, and you hopefully we'll enjoy your posters. We got to do a really fun photo shoot this year. As soon as we got that Jean prototype in, I booked this photo shoot because she was the last one. We had some, great new additions for 2019. We had Magneto, Colossus, Gambit, Beast, Storm coming in, and Jean was that last one. So we were able to do that right before Comic-Con and give them away to you guys here. And then speaking of that Jean, this was a popular discussion point in San Diego, our 3-pack, Love Triangle.
Yeah, it's got a great update to the Tiger Stripe Wolverine. We went battle damage this year, so he's unmasked. He's got a half-shredded mask. Jean has her classic big hair that you saw in the comic books, but we also know there's a lot of... The cool thing about Marvel is you guys, the collectors of Marvel, are very diverse. Some people love what they read as children. Some people love what their parents read in the stories that they told them. Other people love animation. Other people love the movies. Well, we threw in the animated head because that X-Men series back in the 90s was a huge animation. And a lot of people, that's their gene. So we give you the opportunity to make whichever one you prefer. And then Scott's got a couple different versions of shades because he likes to wear ruby quartz glasses. So.
And he's got an alternate left fist hand, so he doesn't always need to be...
Right. Or pointing, because that's just rude, and you don't want to be pointing at people.
So this is a great job by our packaging team again back home. They took those 90s trading cards and really infused that in. The trading cards are on the back, inside panels. So really fun, 3-pack. Famous scenes from the animation. Sticking with X-Men, something we love to do. The universe is so diverse, and we love when we get to do some of the female X-Men characters. And so this is actually a really great piece of art I found last night for Powers of X, I believe, coming out. So we have these 3 exclusives, I believe, EB Games here up north in Canada. We've had Magic, Mystique, and Emma. And then we revealed in San Diego 3 more New Mutants characters, but actually 3 in 1, so they'll all come in 1.
Yeah, so it has alternate parts. So you buy Danny's what we were considering the primary, but it also comes with variant Karma head and variant Wolfsbane head and hand. So if you buy 3 of them, you can make a whole pile of your New Mutants in one box.
We also showed the Havoc and Polaris 90s inspired 2-pack with the crazy hair.
Lots of hair. 90s, lots of big hair.
And then we're kind of slowly getting to that X Factor completed team. We've had the Quicksilver in the 3-pack this year. Wolfsbane, like we just talked about, Multiple Man was last year, and then also at Comic-Con this year, a lot of people actually showed off Strong Guy. So he will be a Build-A-Figure for 2020.
Correct.
Long awaited.
Yeah, he's around Apocalypse scale, maybe a little bit shorter than Apocalypse, but he's pretty massive and broad. So it was a fun one. People have been asking us for him for quite a few years. So to tread some new ground and come up with some fun new versions of brand new characters for you is always great.
So he's 2020. We'll start talking 2020 next year now. So these were also shown. We have Doctor Doom and Hulk.
And we can't tell you anything else about them.
That's it. They will be coming out.
Marvel has threatened us. We can't tell you anything else about them.
So speculate away. We have some vehicles. For the past 2 years, we've had Black Widow, Ghost Rider, Logan. Probably my favorite was Professor X in a hover chair, as well as Deadpool. We have a cool Deadpool. Thank you for coming to both panels. Why don't we give him a scooter?
I think that'd be awfully nice.
Yeah. It's probably hot in there. So we have we're announcing 2 vehicles for 2020. First we have Cosmic Ghost Rider.
That's Frank Castle, so that's also the Punisher, if you didn't know it. He goes through some really, really bad times in the comic books, loses his mind a couple times, makes deals with Devils and Galacti, and this is what you get.
And then as we speak, the team back home is trying to figure out the best way to cram all this in that box, because there's so many pieces. There's a flight stand, there's the big orb.
Yes, we have 3 current scenarios that we're trying to figure out which will pass shipping quality assurance measures and not fall apart. So we're working on it.
They're fun discussions.
Yes.
We also have the cutest, most adorable vehicle yet, Squirrel Girl.
Yep.
With how many squirrels?
Not 1, not 2, 3 squirrels. One of them's tippy toe. It's got the bow.
And then 2020 is also for X-Men going to be Apocalypse.
Yep.
So Jesse Falcon talked about this when he was with us at our Comic-Con panel in San Diego, and was saying how, you know, he looked at this and saw a full wave, or perhaps even more. So definitely for 2020, our X-Men wave will be singular themed, Age of Apocalypse, and we revealed these 3.
First 3. Morph, our first ever Morph action figure, Weapon X. He'll have an alternate stub hand as well as the blade popping through hand. And our first ever Nate X-Man action figure.
So stay tuned for more news around Age of Apocalypse coming shortly. For Spider-Man 2020, we really wanted to lean into the popularity of this PlayStation 4 game that is setting all records. It's an amazing game. So we have 2 figures based on that game in the first Spider-Man wave for 2020. We have the Spider Armor Mark III and the Velocity Suit there.
Right. How many people played that game in this room?
Woo!
I think my side might have won that.
Alright. We showed off Shang-Chi Classic inspired, as well as a more classic looking Vulture as well to complete that Sinister Six team.
And no, we did not know that Shang-Chi was going to be a movie when we were working on this figure.
We didn't even know until they announced it in Hall H, and we just turned to each other and went, oh, really?
Nailed it.
These guys are psychics here. And then a couple of weeks ago, down in Mexico at Unboxing Toy Con, we revealed the final 2 in the wave, so the Superior Octopus and White Rabbit, which is a pretty deep cut. Yeah. So there you have it, the 6 figures. Would you like to know who the Build-A-Figure is?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, stay tuned. We don't have it. But we do have, because again, Dwight and I were so happy to be here again. We do have some special reveals just for you. You guys might have seen a podium covered. So we're gonna get there. What's gonna be in there? Since we're in Canada, of course, has a pretty famous team. Who is this team, everyone? Right. And last year, amongst the reveals we did, I think, Mystique, Weapon X, and we did Guardian. We did this figure. So I just want to thank all of our passionate fans, especially our friend Troy here, who's providing some coverage to our fans around the world who can't be here. So we have a Guardian for you. Give it up for Troy. So I'd like to share with you, this is going to be my reveal to you guys all. So we have Sasquatch from 2018 Deadpool Wave. We have that Guardian figure, which we just see, and then we have one more coming out.
Really obnoxious.
It is Buck. We're trying to make your dreams come true.
So Buck has a new head sculpt. It makes him more in scale with the Legends line. And it was really fun because he's another one of those like incredibly hard to find Build-A-Figures from the past.
So another hard to find character coming out with a new head sometime later this year. And so we will continue to have more great Legends news internationally. We're going to be at New York Comic Con and some of the European Comic Cons.
Wait a minute, that's it?
Well, Puck is that's a pretty good one.
Dude, we've done Puck before. And he's like a third of a Legends figure.
What are we proposing we do?
I think we can do better than that
You
for
give
these
them
good
one
people
more?
of Canada. I don't want to give them one more. No, I have a big ego. I want to give them 2 more.
Alright, so I'll give you 1 and Dwight will give you 2.
Alright.
So, did you guys know that Toy Biz, again, I'm flexing that love for Toy Biz, but they put out a series of Alpha Flight 2 packs. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, alright, let's show them these.
Alright, how about a little Aurora and...
They go too fast?
They do have some very, you know...
There you go.
Yes.
So the twins will make an appearance as well.
That's better than just Puck, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
You know,
Should we go to questions or?
we could. I just feel like you guys came to Canada to reveal all of this stuff, but the Canadians don't get to reveal anything from Alpha Flight. I would like a review.
You would like a review?
I would like
Should we
a
give
review.
Greg
We'll
I mean,
something into the, should we slip something into the deck?
I mean, I that's what, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I think
Greg,
I think it's only fair.
Greg, why
Arcadian
don't you
party
just-
Okay, so let's see what we got.
So interesting. Sasquatch 2-pack with, who is that? So many reveals.
so much Canada.
So much Canada. So much Canada.
Hold on, the girls had a
That's a good point, Mel.
All right,
All right.
I think it's fair.
All right. Who's the next
Do
reveal
you
now?
guys think that's fair?
Very fair.
All right. Call it out. So I'm having trouble keeping track of this. What have we done? We've done Puck. We've done
Counting's not my thing,
Aurora,
man.
North Star. We've done Vindicator, Snowbird. Is that it?
I don't know. If Dallas wants to reveal something, I think I should do.
Okay, Taylor can reveal one too.
Alright.
I guess. All right.
I think I really want to reveal Shaman.
Would you like a shaman? Hey, that's a lot of reveals. I wonder, like, maybe they'll all just come out individually, or
Wait a second. Would they all come out individually, or would they come out all together?
one-stop shopping. Julia, would you like to offer that up to them? All right, so here you have our Alpha Flight team, and they will be available in one beautiful box set.
We'll unveil that. Very careful.
Oh my god!
So this will be a Amazon global exclusive. It will be available for pre-order on Amazon Canada sometime tomorrow.
What?
Canadian fans tomorrow, Saturday. So enjoy your day today. You don't need to stress out. Tomorrow.
I'm already stressed.
But great, all new illustration from our packaging team here, and a beautiful 5th panel display box here.
You're welcome.
And that's really it. So thank you guys. We have some time for some questions, some feedback. So what you got for us?
Laura.
Thanks. First off, thank you very much for Strong Guy. We've been waiting for a long time for Strong Guy. Just two quick things. Any chance that we're going to see Strong Guy or another body for Strong Guy or another body in general? Because with Shadow King and stuff like that, body suits are coming back. Seeing the suits that have been coming out. Wondering if we're going to see Bodyguard, Strong Guy, from the blue tuxedo there, St. Patrick's.
I think, yeah, we might get around to those. Right now, that's not in the works. Strong Guy is a build-a-figure for an upcoming wave, so this is our first time of creating that body. But as you guys well know, once we create a new body, if we can find a new opportunity to use it multiple times, that's obviously a win for us, and gives you guys some more variety. So.
Any plans on seeing Sugar Man in the future?
Wow. We went from Strong Guy, I give you all of Alpha Flight, and you throw Sugar Man at me? Alright, Age of Apocalypse, that's true.
He has like a very unique shape. I think that would be.
Yeah, but he's either the size of this room, or he's like this big. I'll make you one this big for...
I would love it.
Alright, there you go.
Perfect. Over here.
2 questions. Can you just go back a slide? I missed the...
Yeah.
And then the other question had to do with, for that one. I need that picture. For the next Endgame wave, can you talk to us about the hip articulation on Cap, and particularly his triangular butt?
It's the original...
America's butt.
It's America's butt. Yeah, so if it's a little wonky, it's America's fault.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the original tool from the first release of that cap, which is back in 2012. So we've come a long way since then. We didn't have the opportunity to go back and revisit that one at this time, but it does have a new head sculpt to be more film accurate, because the first one was not. So we were able to make that adjustment, as well as a better deco pattern, but it's just an old base body. If we have an opportunity to revisit that in the future, we would like to do that one over again from scratch at some point.
Thank you.
So like specifically those larger ones. Well, yeah, we put the Sentinel out in exclusive. I think it made its way up here. The Days of Futures Past Logan. It was a redeco. Yeah, I think we'll continue to look at those. They are bigger figures, more expensive, so we have to find the right place in the line. But hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, we've got things like the Hasbro Pulse now, which we didn't have in the past, which allowed us to do the sail barge for Star Wars as a fan-funded thing. So we have no plans that we're announcing, and we're not even at that point to have an item yet. But we are having discussions around the office as to what a Marvel take on that could be. So some of those options, Sentinels, Fin Fang Foom, things like that, are great suggestions for us to take back to the office and discuss and see if there's the right fit for us. Yeah, I think so. There's no costumes that were ever purposely off the list. There are some characters that at some points in time we're not allowed to do. Some characters have ties to the artist that created them, and because of that, sometimes we're not allowed to activate them at different windows. But that window is constantly changing from year to year. Different artists are brought back into the Marvel family, and so on and so forth, and relationships change. I love Psylocke. Doing her in her pink and armor would be really cool. I would love to do that at some point. Excellent.
Here. Yep. Thanks for revealing all the Alpha flights. I have one question. Can we expect Alpha Flight Deadpool next year?
Well, if they'll have us back, maybe we'll. This was a pretty Canadian-centric reveal. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to top this one anytime.
Just retire.
Yeah. Thank you, Canada. Good night. I'll never see you again.
Right here at the middle.
So it was kind of what you
I
said. Hasbro Pulse, past that, but that really didn't do anything for our current. So would you make this version of the art figures that was just not going to send that has that crowdfunded program?
Yeah, HasLab I think is a great platform for the fans to get behind something that traditional retail can't handle. So all the brands in the building are honestly looking at things, and including Marvel. We have some great ideas, and some people have shared some suggestions that I think are fairly obvious of certain larger characters, and we love them too. So hopefully sometime soon.
Thank you for putting all the extra pieces, or like the extra back pieces in the little boxes that we have in. Should we all be getting an extra silver sable, or are we getting a body for Lalandra?
No plans for Lalandra right now. Some characters fill out the package really well, other ones don't. So when we have the opportunity to find some fun little bits and pieces, we've been working on this line for a long time. We started working in 2006 on our 2007 launch, and over the course of time between then and now, there's been lots of lost children. Little bits and pieces that are that didn't quite make it for whatever reason. Some of them were tooled, some of them were just sculpted, and we have this sad morgue of lost children. So when we can find an opportunity to bring those back out, in some cases just pop some of the pieces in, allowing you guys, there's the Marvel fan community is very diverse, but so is the collecting community. There's people who will buy them from a package. There's people that open them and play with them immediately, and there's other people that like to make their own customs. So to give you some of the tools, some of the bits and pieces that allows you guys to be creative with this and have some fun too is also great. So there is no plan for a proper Lalandra today. That's not to say that we won't get to her in a year or two down the line, but yeah, taking some of those other bits and pieces and making your own, have some fun with it, man. It's an amazing line, and that's what inspires us sometimes with the photography you guys do, as well as the customs. It's it's an awesome community that you guys are all part of, that makes this thing bigger than just us up here on this panel and us back in Rhode Island and our other offices around the world. It sounds silly or whatever, but you guys are just as much of this, because if you guys weren't supporting it, if you guys weren't buying this, if you guys weren't having so much fun allowing the brand to grow to what it is today, we wouldn't be invited here, we wouldn't be talking about this, we'd be moving on to something else. So that goes back on you. So thank you guys. Thank all of you guys.
We love all of our fans. We especially love when families get into Marvel fandom. So we have some great Loki and Thor joining us. Do we have some giveaways for them? What do you think, Dwight? I see 2 vehicles
I think
still left over. Do we want to do
totally
that? Thank you guys for coming out, showing your support. So you can share. You guys can share. It's okay. Professor X is really cool too, Thor. Don't worry about it. He's my favorite one.
Right there in front.
If there were ever better siblings to battle over toys, it's Loki.
I appreciate the fact that you guys brought up like this is like a but you guys not the least popular member. Like this completes the cartoon version, but we're talking about Marina. Is there any?
Oh no, not most definitely not. No, someone else had mentioned Box as well. All these teams have had members that have floated in and out of them over the years. So no plans, but there's no reason why you should give up hope to not see her at some point in time. Yeah, there you go.
Great. In the back here.
I'm really loving the 80th anniversary line. It's wonderful to just get these classic, iconic versions on the shelf. And I'm wondering, obviously we're going to be past the 80th anniversary. Is that line going to continue delivering that kind of classic Silver Age, Bronze Age looking characters?
I think so, yeah. I mean, there's been great response to those 5 items, and whether or not there's a campaign, we can certainly look at that.
We've had a lot of success, and we've enjoyed those programs as well. It started with the 10th anniversary last year of the MCU. Now we have the 80th. Rest assured, we've got some fun plans for the future for things like that to bring you guys some new fun toy beats that maybe you weren't thinking about. In the years to come.
I mean, and you would make a great box set.
Perfect.
I really like the retro line that you guys are doing right now. I think that the next stuff just came out. I got one of the Spider-Man Endgame series from '94. There's been talks of doing Spider-Man figures on that '94 style packaging.
There's been a lot of talks
Yeah.
about a lot of different things.
Our creative services team, who runs all of the amazing packaging development, has actually gone out onto eBay and bought 5 or 6 other different versions of the cards, just so we have them, an example in the office of some of the other things we could look at for future use when the time's right. If the segment stays hot, we definitely have more fun plans for it.
I think we did the 2 biggest ones right off the bat, right? We did the superheroes, the gray card with the blue, yellow stars, and then the X-Men retro wave now. So there were other lines as well. There was Iron Man, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, so we're always looking at those.
So there's a lot of questions online coming in. The Gray Hulk that was revealed on Amazon Next. Any word on that?
If they didn't have the passion to show up here in person, I don't know if I answer speculative questions. Ryan, you can if you want.
So yeah, that was a fun little Easter egg that dropped this week. Hopefully those 84 people in Mexico are enjoying their Gray Hulks, but we'll stay tuned. It is not a Mexico exclusive, as some people have speculated.
You guys ever think of making the Star Jammers?
Yeah, sure. Corsair, Hepzibah, why not? Let's do them. Let's do them all.
Because I think Scott deserves his father back.
Yeah. We've already talked about lost children today. We've talked about sibling rivalry. Yeah, we need to. Yeah, it's a good point.
Back here.
Can we get the original Mark I Spider Bomber with the metal plates and everything?
The silver and black one.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Go with the '94 retro Spider-Man.
There you go.
It was in the last episode.
Third row back here.
So one of my favorite parts about the series is like the effects and the extra accessories. Is there a chance of getting like a pack of just glass effects and handle stuff?
Yeah, I think so. That's something that I would love to do. We
Yeah.
haven't quite found the right place, but maybe it's an exclusive or maybe it's a pulse item in the future.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what we're going to be able to activate on the pulse, but there's could be a great opportunity to do something that's a little different than what you would see at the on a mass retail release.
So yeah, and like, what would you prioritize? Would you want more weapons or more character-specific pieces, or like what kind of
I would
things?
personally do more like with effects or like something that can go with everybody. But like just something to make like the toy photography look more alive.
Okay.
So like maybe like holster glasses or explosives things like that.
What kind of action figure stands are you using? Just whatever you can get. Yeah.
Coat hanger.
This guy loves action figures.
10 gauge wire.
Action.
10 gauge wire.
You guys did the doppelganger Spider-Man, and so I was wondering about like the rest of the other maximum carnage characters, but like specifically, because you guys did Red Goblin, you didn't have a glider. If you guys were to do Devil Goblin, is it possible that he would have like a big fire glider too, or is that just kind of like in the cards that would be too big?
It would be too big probably for a single figure release, but we have other. The line's grown into some special new spaces with the vehicle assortment. We've done some deluxe figures with the Archangel, and what you just saw coming with Giant Man, and some other ones that I don't remember what they are, so I'm not going to talk about them because I don't remember what you know and what you don't know, and I don't want to get yelled at by him. So I'm going to stop there. But yes, there are opportunities to do other things like that now that we didn't have a couple years ago. So don't give up hope for things like that, in the future for the iconic bits and pieces.
Right here.
You guys did a lot of packing from secondary characters, like you have the current Ultra Burp Box in the 3-pack. We have Louise with the Ghost. We have MJ with the Homecoming Spider-Man. So guy asked, each entity hit me?
So
Which version?
Marissa Tomei version.
Marissa
Okay.
Tomei. All right.
yeah, Marissa Tomei, Aunt May, and Happy Hogan.
There it
Two-pack.
is.
He didn't even unlock his phone.
Dude.
Right here.
I'd like to bring it back to Arena for a sec. Dead horse. But here's the case, and it kind of leads to my question. We got Night Thrasher. Is there any chance of more new warriors? I'm thinking Arena and maybe Arena the same names.
If we do that, I want a speed wall.
Yes.
I'd rather screw with them and give them penance so that they would well, this doesn't work. I gave you the figure. Yes, possibly. I mean, some of the smaller teams are a lot tougher, right? The ones like X-Men, Avengers, Spider-Man, those things have a home day in and day out, year in and year out. But we have an amazing box set for Alpha Flight, and Canada better show up and support. And if that happens, then yeah, maybe there is a hope for a new Warriors or new mutants or things like that down the line, or the Atlanteans and all these other things that have not to this point had a big home. And hell, just give them frickin' a month, and you never know what Kevin is going to pull out of his hat at MCU. I mean, Shang-Chi's coming. New Doctor Strange. More Thor. It's like, Black Widow, Eternals. We got some amazing, crazy, awesome stuff that none of us in the room would have ever predicted, a year or so ago. So, as those things happen, and as those characters that you might not have ever thought about become more mainstream, it just opens more vault doors for us to go deeper into the vaults and come up with more amazing versions for you.
Keeping with the love of retro, I'd like to go back a little further. I grew up on 60s Spider-Man. I've always wondered why you guys have never attempted a 60s Spider-Man line. Charles Cameo, Wise. Is there a big book going back that far?
I mean, there are, times when we get the full team together and we talk about, all those different beats, the original Invaders and all those different pieces. I think it's trying to figure out what would have the best success at mass, or in the future, if we figure out other channels of bringing those types of things to you that we know are more niche and that you might love that and want to see that, but can we find enough people out there that love that to warrant a wave development, because it's, you know, it's a big process to, you know, and it's expensive to come up with, you know, the tooling necessary to make some of these characters, and we need to know that we're going to be able to sell X amount of them for it to be profitable for us, because at the end of the day, it is a business, and that's what we need to figure out. But, you know, as new avenues open up, you know, we're constantly trying to figure out lots of conversations on what the Pulse can be and what HasLab can be, and can we have an opportunity to do things that are different and new. So we're always trying to figure them out, and those characters in particular, maybe we haven't discussed them, but they are definitely open to, you know, to those kind of possibilities when we get there. Don't give up hope. Okay.
Being that obviously since you guys are working very heavily in Marvel and the Marvel universe, is there any other universe that you would love to bring into the Hasbro family that you could work on, that is a property other than Marvel? Something that might you guys are passionate about, or something that you really always want to do?
Well, I know a little boy who really, we live with him, and he's really into Peppa and PJ Masks. So I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't know. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about our company. While we have our disciplines that we're focused on, we are constantly being given allowance to explore in other new areas. So we actually pitched some stuff a few months back that was very outside of the box of what we would normally do and way outside of the Marvel scape. So to have that type of freedom to do something that's unexpected is really awesome. Whether we'll get there, whether we'll, you know, get all the stars to align is unknown, but to be able to find those passion projects is, you know, not that Marvel's clearly enough to you know, keep us busy, but it's I think that's one of the strengths of Hasbro, allowing the creatives to be creative, and if you're passionate about something, you know, you can take it all the way to the top and plead your case, and if it, you know, if it happens, you know, yay! And if not, you know there's going to be something down the line that you can, you know, move on to as well.
Over here.
Just on that note, then, I'm just wondering, since I believe Mattel is transitioning off the DC franchise to McFarlane Toys, were you guys after that as well? Do you know?
Dwight and I are just so deep into Marvel. We love Marvel. Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah, right over here.
You mentioned that you look at secondary market prices, and I don't know if you've gone looking for them, but 1/12 scale cars, automobiles, are very, very expensive, and no one really makes them. So how many Professor Xaviers and Deadpool on scooters do we need to buy to get you guys to build us a car?
More.
More?
No, but the team's looking at vans and cars.
I want a Hell Challenger, so that would be cool.
Okay, we've got time for 2 more questions, so here and then we can
One more time, sorry?
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee? Well, I mean, you know.
Yeah, we're looking at it. I know fans have been pretty adamant about it, so hopefully sometime soon. Yeah.
Let's hear it. And
So thanks for letting ask the last question. But so with the MCU, the one we've been different is called Transdiversity. So far, I think MCU has at least age-based figures yet, correct? So I was wondering with Shang-Chi, obviously we get that first time, but when will we get to see the long thing?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And that's true. And the multiverse of madness isn't that far away.
Multiverse.
So, you know.
It's around the corner.
You know.
And we did Colleen Wing for the Defenders.
That's true. Colleen!
Alright, and we've been staring at this, so we have a power gauntlet too. I haven't come up with a good way to give it away though. So
I won the one last year.
team,
I
what do you
got
guys
those
want to do?
I don't know. I think who's the next greatest young Marvel fan in this room here? I think right back here in the back. Yeah, right. You.
And I got to meet someone coming into this showroom, and she's been long suffering, 15 years with a husband who collects deeply. So I think the only right thing to do is to let her start her own first collection. So we have a Hulk for you as well. You're welcome so much.
All right, a big round of applause for Ryan and Dwight. Whoa!